really, really fast. So you have to take a lot of notes. And then there's a little test at the end. It's like, I don't know, 9 questions. It's not hard at all. And during the training, she points out the things that you need to remember. Um, so it's, the answers are pretty obvious. But it went well. It was like 2 hours.
Beautiful. And you're doing Keller offers today, right?
I am.
Beautiful.
Bill, do you mind putting the
I'm
link
doing
for
not
that one?
today. I'm sorry. I did Keller offers yesterday, not today. Sorry,
Not
Tawana.
today. Oh, gotcha. Was there somebody who just asked a question?
Oh, I was just
I think
asking, can you put the link to the Keller offers on demand in our chat or in the announcement
Yeah.
room, please?
Yeah, I
Same
can
here,
do that.
Donna.
thank you guys. Thank you.
That would be a big help for me too, Donna. Thank
Oh,
you.
Donna, are you able to do that?
I'm going to look for it right now.
All right, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Who else? Who else is
The knock home swap is great. I had two leads at an open house on Saturday on Sunday introducing that, and then one person I spoke to yesterday. It seems to be obviously a bit of a problem, a bit of an issue. I need to sell my old house first, and we've got a great program. So far, it's been great. It's been a really great conversation starter.
Yeah, if anything, it's a conversation starter, right? It's like Mark Spain, for example, your home sold guaranteed, or we'll give you a cash offer. And I don't know the exact number, but I would venture to say that it's probably somewhere around 90% of the people that call in have no interest in that program. Yet he's got some trained assassins on the phone that know every way to get that person into their office to present to them about selling the home traditionally, right? So I don't want to call it a bait and switch, particularly on YouTube. However, it's pitching something that creates a lot of questions and curiosity and is not a fit for most people.
And he also probably plays off their fears too. He probably really plays off their fears about, oh, you're going to have to sell your old hat. You're going to have to accept this offer. And
Oh my gosh,
it's
you're
really
gonna
not in their best
your
interest.
bed, and the house is gonna look pretty, and you're gonna have to leave the house for showings. Yeah, you will. And the alternative is you sell your home for 25% less than you should. Now, which would you prefer? Right? John, can I put you on the spot for a second?
Yeah.
We had a really nice conversation yesterday in our one-on-one, and I was just hoping that you could share with the group for like 1 minute about how you have kind of evolved in your kind of awareness of this business over the last couple of weeks. And you made a comment that you finally, like, the light has clicked and everything's starting to come together. Can you share what that means to you?
Ignite, it's only been 2 classes and only 1 class for Bold at that point, but it really, I don't know, something seemed to click this path, with those classes in Bold. Honestly, I know it's very tough on your end, Bill, but I Ignite would have been great. Like early on, I really think Ignite, for me at least, is going to really open up. It's going to really put up the light bulb for me. I think. Yep. And then I had a really good open house on Sunday, and a lot of what you've been training us, Bill, and all of you have been helping me with, really kind of, I don't know, just by instinct, was really able to do a lot more and really generate a lot more leads. I felt much more confident. And I think this past week for me is, the fog is starting to clear, I think.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's the exciting part, isn't it? Yeah, it takes some time. I mean, there is just so much out there, and I think we like to have it kind of packaged in like this great thing which we're working on, but it's just taking little bite every day. I don't think Aubrey's talked about it too much, and we're kind of working on this behind the scenes right now, but there was an old program that actually preceded Ignite, probably 10 years ago, maybe, that we're about to go back to some degree. It's called 36-12-3. And what it is and it's a 11-day session the tenant don't, this is still not in stone, but we're planning to run this once a month at the office. It'll be in conjunction, it will work side by side with Ignite. By the way, we're also doing quite a bit of work to our onboarding process. So we are aware that there are some gaps there. We are not standing by and ignoring those. And this is an opportunity to go a lot more in depth to concepts like the models, like the scripts and dialogues, open houses, presentations, where you get a little bit more than just a couple hours in an Ignite class, potentially virtual or particularly virtually, and then assume that you're gonna, get everything you need to get on your end. Okay, so appreciate your patience. We're working on it. Okay, thank you for sharing, John. Anyone else want to share anything this morning?
Hey, Bill, I did get certified at Home Swab. It was pretty easy, so I'm excited to share the knowledge with
Beautiful.
some clients.
Yeah, again, it's just a conversation starter. Let's just have some conversations with people. And at the end of the day, one thing that I probably now have ingrained in my soul, and I used it in several conversations yesterday, for example, was talent solves problems. Okay, talent solves problems. It's app.kelleroffers.com. Okay, talent solves problems. What I mean by that is to say, if you're chatting with a prospect and they have everyone's going to have some type of problem, right? I own the wrong home. I need to sell it and buy a different one, or I need some down payment assistance, or I need to pay down this debt or something. I got some kind of problem, and they're reaching out to you to be the choreographer of solving that problem, right? Some of the tasks you can take care of because you're a trained real estate agent, and some of the tasks you might need some other type of professional to get involved in, right? Like Twantis and I this morning, we're talking about a gentleman who needs an estate attorney, basically, right? He's got a pretty complex situation, and he is, an elderly gentleman, and he is just ripe for somebody to eat him alive, right? If he's not careful, somebody's going to take advantage of him. I can promise you that. And he's got to get a circle of professionals around him, led by Twantis, that is going to protect him and solve his issues. Does that make sense? Okay. So what was that?
Nothing. I was just saying, yep.
Yep. Okay, let's do a tiny bit of housekeeping. Remember, tomorrow from 12 to 1, we have a success series with Merle Land. Merle has been in the business for over 40 years, probably. She was one of the original 25 or so agents in Atlanta with Keller Williams. She was at the table the very first day when they decided to do this. She is an unbelievable source of resource and information. She's had a very successful business over the years. She does have an assistant or a part-time assistant, but she does not have a team. So she's a good example of somebody who is having a lot of success and what I believe she believes is a great quality of life without having the need to go and hire a bunch of people. And she's going to be with us from 12 to 1 tomorrow. And then from 1 to 2 tomorrow is the launch mastermind. And we're going to be speaking about contracts. I think what I'd like to do is spend a brief minute going through the listing presentation. Listing contract, the listing agreement, and then move on to putting together an offer. Okay. So if you have any questions about that, you can either send them to me prior to tomorrow or bring them tomorrow. Sound good?
Are those going to be taped?
Yeah, everything will be taped. Yep.
Okay, they'll be on the Facebook feed.
No. So everything in our group is on the YouTube channel, just for PC people. I will post that link here in just 1 second.
Okay,
it is updated completely, including an introduction to productivity coaching that we did yesterday. So this is the link. Hang on one moment. Library, homes, your videos. Okay. isn't it customized channel home? All right, I'll post it in the group here in just a second. I'm having a hard, I only have 41 subscribers and we have more than 41 people in the group. So somebody is not subscribed, which means that you're missing out on 7-something months. Yeah, 7-something months of opportunities of already pre-recorded videos and stuff. It is in the email that I sent out. I can check it here. The email that I sent out a couple of days ago with the productivity coaching week ahead. Remember, there's a lot of great links on there for some of the best videos, or some of the most influential videos, I think, at the very beginning, posted for you to find very, very easily. So hang on one second, copy link address, and post that here. Chat. All right, click on that and subscribe, and you can go back and watch videos since the very beginning of this process, when we were still doing stuff at the office and I was wearing winter coats and all that stuff long time ago. Okay. We ended up doing some additional role play yesterday, rather than the task that I wanted to spend a few minutes on, which I'll do right now, which is the review of the fourth quarter GPS. Okay, I know that we have been talking about this document for a couple of weeks now, and there's a good reason for that, because it's critical. Okay, so this is also in the Google Drive, and it's also in the email that I sent out a couple of days ago. This is a document that is, in hindsight, I probably should not have called it the fourth quarter GPS. This is like almost like a pre-GPS. Okay, this is your pre-business plan, if you will. Okay, it is clarifying to you what your goals are, and it's focusing your attention to what I would consider to be the primary task, or the primary things that a professional real estate agent should be thinking about. Number one, presentations. Number two, scripts and dialogues. Number three, how you get leads, right? What are your lead generation strategies? Number four, what is the status of your database, and what is your commitment to growing your database? Fourth is how you use tech, right? How are you integrating your business into Command? Okay. And fifth is, what's life look like outside of real estate, right? If we focus all of our mental energy and all of our time finding buyers and sellers, you will not, it's just not what we want, right? We say God, family, business. You will wear out. Okay, you will wear out. You want to make sure that you have stuff going on outside of real estate that speaks to your passions, and that you enjoy kind of a relief from real estate every once in a while. Okay, so once you have these things in place, we're going to take those 3 lead generation strategies, whether they be pay-per-clicks or open houses or door knocks or cold calls or sphere of influence or networking or business to business or whatever, and we're going to go into a lot of detail with how do we win in that category, right? How do we make sure, like John, you're taking a liking to open houses, right? How can you become like the best open houser ever, right? How can you make sure that every time you spend $20 on, coffee, donuts, and balloons, you trade that for a couple of prospects, right? Know what I'm saying? How can you just get better and better and better every day? Okay. At the end of the filling this out, you should have a series of deadlines or check marks. Hey, I've already got a listing presentation. It already says that it's compliant with COVID and all that, right? It's already modern looking, updated, etc. What's next? What's the next most important thing? So if I were to ask you guys individually, is your fourth quarter GPS done? And you say no, the next thing I should be able to ask you is, what is the next priority on your list that is not yet done, right? What's the next thing you've got when you have project time on your calendar? What are you working on? Is it your database? Is it your pre-listing package? Is it finding a role play partner? Is it fine tuning your listing presentation? Is it studying your scripts more, Like, what is the next priority in your business? If you're unsure, you can ask me, of course, or I would just go down the list. I specifically wrote this so that we focus on the most important things at the top. Okay. Interestingly enough, and I don't want, please don't hear a different message than what I specifically say. Okay. I would much rather you run your business on index cards and white paper and have a bunch of business than know every little nook and cranny of command and have no one to put in there. Okay. Everything I did to build my business and build my team, I did without command. Okay. Command wasn't around. So we use different technology, or we use no technology. The name of the game is conversations with human beings and booking appointments and holding appointments. Okay. Everything tech related can wait. You need clients. That's the bottom line. You need clients. Okay. And that will push you to fine tune your buyer presentation, fine tune your listing presentation, get clarity on how you're going to spend your time generating leads, etc. Does that make sense? I know you're probably not going to hear a lot of that from somebody on, teaching a class, but I want to make sure that's perfectly clear. What breaks my heart, this is soul crushing for me, okay, is to watch somebody come into the business and basically become an expert in a technology system for a real estate company, and then ultimately they can't afford to stay at the company anymore.
Actually, Bill, I think Melba in the Ignite class yesterday, she mentioned a quote by Gary saying, taking care of business should never take precedence over finding business.
That's true. That's right. Now that introduces a somewhat of a new concept, which is the idea of what she's referring to there is, let's say I've got a transaction that I've got to do an amendment for, I got to make a call to the termite company, or I've got like just some kind of chore that's got to get taken care of in that contract. That does not become priority number one. That it becomes priority number two. Priority number one is earmarking and time blocking a certain amount of time to find new business before I deal with the fires of the day.
Okay,
right?
I'm sorry. I thought it applied a little bit closer. Okay.
No, there's some similar themes though, right? So I'm glad you brought that quote up. So let me make sure that you guys heard that clearly. If you wake up every day and you go tend to the thing that's got the hottest fire, you will never lead generate. Okay, I can promise you. You will find a bunch of stuff to do before you ever lead generate. And then you'll wonder why you have no quality of life and not a whole lot of money, right? The way that you keep the funnel going is consistent lead generation every day. Then you deal with the problems of the day. Okay. I also talk to a lot of agents, particularly newer agents, that they get that one deal and then they basically want to. It's like the new kid. It's like you gotta baby it all day. You gotta hold it and pet it all day long and look at it all day long. No. You already made the call. Put the file away and go find another file, right? When it cries, you pick it up again. See what I'm saying? Maybe a bad analogy, but my point is if you baby every file until it's done and you don't find new files, you're probably gonna end up with 3 or 4 closings all year long, because you're gonna finish the file and then you're gonna have to say, well, man, I ain't got no more clients, and you're gonna have to go find the next file, right? You see what I'm saying? So lead generation there is no way out. There is no way out of that. Okay. Well, truthfully, there's basically 2 ways out of that, if we want to get real specific. Okay. The first way out of lead generation is to not work in an industry that requires lead generation. Right. If I want to go scoop ice cream, I don't have to worry about finding people who want ice cream. That's just my job. When the person comes up, I scoop the ice cream. But I also don't have the potential to make the kind of money you guys have the potential to make, right? The other option, if you desire not to generate leads yourself, you could buy leads, right? And the math says that that's not a great ROI. particularly for newer agents, right? Because you don't have as much skill to close the deals that you just spent a ton of money on, right? So every lead that's ever been procured costs time and money to procure it. If it wasn't your time, it's going to be your money if you want it. Does that make sense? So the vast majority of us are in lead gen, like, how do I want to say this? Okay, there's only two problems a real estate agent ever going to have. I could go ask every real estate agent in the world, how's business? And within 10 seconds, I'll know whether they fall into, I got problem number 1 or problem number 2. Problem number 1 is I don't have enough leads. Problem number 2 is I have too many leads. There's only two problems you're going to have. Either I don't have enough or I've got too many. Okay. Today in Mega Agent Camp, you're going to hear a lot of, I have too many. And that's why they keep growing. That's why they bring new people into their organization to help service the back side of the business or the front side of the business. Make sense? They've got this engine just creating opportunities left and right. It's not that they have too many, but at some point you got to hire another person to give the highest level of service, right? Like I can only serve a certain number of, sandwiches a day by myself. If let's say I can serve 50, but if I've got 75 clients, I need help or I'm going down. Does that make sense? So I think pretty much all of us, I would say, are in the I don't have enough leads category, right? And so you can either, so as we've said many, many times in here, when we recognize a problem, one of the very first things that we should be thinking about is, I only have two ways to solve a problem. I can solve a problem with my time and I can solve a problem with my money. Which one do I want to solve the problem with? Right? Okay, I don't have enough leads. Okay, I'm going to solve that problem with my time because I'm trained to go find leads. Okay, my grass is long and needs to be cut. That one I'm going to use my money for. You see what I'm saying? This is how business owners think, is they understand what their time is worth, they understand where they're skilled, and they just go press really, really hard where their talents are, and where they're not talented, somebody else manages that. Does that resonate with you guys? What are you hearing? I don't want to be the only one that talks today. Greta, I see a lot of head nodding. Does that resonate with some of the stuff you've done in the past?
Well, it does. I've always, though, been an island into myself. I've not been in an industry where I had the luxury of doing that. And so my particular is to identify, and I looked at it a little different. I said, and I'm starting to get there, I said, what do I hate to do? Mm-hmm. I hate the technology. So I'm hiring someone to come in and help me. I despise it. We have a very contentious relationship. So I'm hiring someone to come in and help me with that and do it. I don't mind. I've got the money. I'll do it. What I do enjoy and what I'm good at is talking with people and, getting information. My shares yesterday, I got a group of women together. There were 15 of us. So I met 15 never mets yesterday.
Wow,
to put into my database. Now I need to know, I need coaching on how do I best nurture them within the KW system. I can nurture them as my friend. I know how to do that. But how do I slide that other section of my personality of who I am now into that nurturing situation?
That's a great question. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Great question. So if you look, you're taking Bold right now or no?
I'm trying to, but I honestly, it's kind of
You're enrolled, right?
And so I try to watch. I'm in it, but I'm not doing it. I don't have the bandwidth.
Okay, well, the material is there mistake. For the class goes on for another 4 weeks, and then the material is there for another 2 months after that. So what I would challenge you is to, even if it's 20 minutes a day, carve out 20 minutes and sit in front of your computer with no distractions and hear these people speak. More importantly, though, for right now, they've been doing this thing called the Bold Toolbox. This is the first time I've ever seen them do it, where attached to all of the curriculums, okay, they have a huge packet of scripts, okay, and there's a lot of scripts on kind of catching up with your friends and these kind of things. So you got to be real careful, and I'm sure you know this, to start vomiting real estate on people, right? But there's a lot of opportunity in the marketplace right now, right? Homes are selling very, very quickly. There is record low on interest rate. If you own a home, you should be doing one of two things. You should either be selling the home or refinancing the home. If you're not interested in selling, you should be refinancing. And if you've already refinanced, great, check it again. My across the street neighbor bought 2 months after me. So he's owned his home for about 14 months. Okay, he's about to refinance for the third time. And I'm serious. And every time he's saving like $150 to $200 minimum per month. Right? Refinancing is completely a mathematical evaluation. It has nothing to do with anything other than math. Right?
Yeah,
That's it. So when you're speaking to the girls' events like that, it's basically a matter of hearing about what's on their mind, right? What's new in their family. Most times when people got shelter in place, you saw, my next door neighbor is a divorce attorney. The divorces are like skyrocketing right now. Skyrocketing. Okay. Most people, they live in their home and they either love it. They're like, oh my gosh, this place is so great. And the downfall is, oh my gosh, it's kind of big. I need somebody to clean this place. Right. Or it's too small and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't stand living in this place. We need to move. Right. Or they're like, I don't even like my roommate anymore. We're done. Right. So everybody's got some type of goal. And real estate is at the heart of a lot of that, right? If you guys listen to David Huffaker, who was on the Coach's Corner yesterday, he's a mega agent out of Nashville. He's got 10 expansion networks. He's in Gary's small groups. I mean, he's a stud. He's probably going to be speaking, I don't know if it's today or next week at Mega Agent Camp. And he said that you can ask three questions. Now, these are a little on the salesy side. So I don't know that I would introduce all these questions in like a casual setting, but you might be able to weave them in a certain way. The first is, these would be like if you just took a listing and you were cold calling around the listing to invite them to an open house or something like that. The first question is, have you or anyone in your family considered selling lately? Right. I'm sure you saw that I put up I have a new listing around the corner. We're going to be hosting an open house from 2 to 4, and actually from 1 to 2, we're inviting just the neighbors to come and take a look at the property. So first off, I wanted to make sure you knew about that and give you a direct invitation to come, a personal invitation to come. And I was wondering, like, one of the things that's happening in today's market is we end up with more buyers than sellers, right? There's a good chance that we'll get multiple offers on this property because we've got 1.5 months of supply, right? You're dropping nuggets into them. And so there's a good chance I might end up with more buyers and only have one house to sell. So I just want to know, have you or anyone in your family thought about selling recently? Right? More often than not, they're going to say no to that. Okay. And then you might say something to the effect of, I'm ripping this off directly from David, so I'm trying to remember what the second question was. Does anyone know what I'm talking about from yesterday? Anyone? I'll come back to the second question. The third question was, before we get off the phone, it was something like, I know what it was. Second question is, do you happen to know of any of your neighbors or friends or, people that you go to a church with or something like that have considered selling? right? That I might be able to help. Not that I might be able to sell them and get a commission check, but that I might be able to help. I want to be a resource for them and for the community members, and I just want to help. Just want to help. Maybe they need a painter. Maybe they need a carpenter. Maybe they need a landscaper. Maybe they need a babysitter. Maybe they need a life insurance agent. I don't care. I just want to help. Okay. Third question, you're probably going to get a no on that one too. The third question is, so Greta, let me ask you before we get off the phone, when you have a question about real estate, who do you trust? And they're going to say, I don't really know. I'm not sure I know anyone. Say, listen, I was wondering if I could have the opportunity of earning that responsibility, right? There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of misinformation out there. And I feel strongly that every homeowner needs somebody in their corner that they could reach out to if they have a question, right? There might come a time in the future where you have a real estate goal that I could potentially help you with. You might like some market information updates and that stuff. Do I have your permission to just check in periodically and see if there's anything I can do to help you? More than likely, they're going to say yes to that. And that's when you get their contact information and stick them in your database. And then you love on them until they want to do something, right? And that's how you grow your database. And the more people that like you and trust you and that get consistent, personalized updates from you, meaning neighborhood nurtures, these kind of things, right? Mobile app invites, where they can have a connection through you to the data that they need, the more opportunities you'll get for a referral. We have Pam has a closing today. This is a buyer who I was in PowerCore. Does anyone know what PowerCore is? It's kind of like BNI or one of the networking groups. Greta, have you have an experience with PowerCore?
No, I don't have an experience with anything, and I'm so inundated. I need a cheat sheet. Can you just put like a poster on the back wall so I can like reference it real quick? Because
you need like a realtor human dictionary, like translation guide or something, right?
Realtor English.
I think there's a business opportunity. Whoever wants that, right? PowerCore is like a networking group. And you meet like once a week, and there's one of each professional, right? So there's one real estate agent, one lender, one, lotions and potions person, one life insurance person, one, closing attorney or whatever, right? It's not all real estate. It's promotional products and, skincare and all the other stuff, accounting. Anyway, I used to substitute a lot. And so I'd drive around to all these different groups around the city because I didn't know anyone and I needed to know somebody because I didn't want to wait any more tables. So I was doing what I needed to do to meet more people. Anyway, I met this guy who was a financial planner. We ended up having a cup of coffee. This is like 12, 13 years ago. He just sent me a renter about 3 or 4 months ago as a referral because he remembered me, and I've stayed in touch with him periodically. Pam turned him into a buyer, and he's buying a $500,000 house. You see what I'm saying? Like, you just never know when this is 13 years ago I met this dude. Okay. You never know when these seeds are going to blossom. But that's a pretty cool one. I thought I was going to get like a $75 split on a rental check or something, if that. And look what happened, right? That's the wins we have to celebrate. The wins are not necessarily cash and checks at closing tables. That'll come. Okay, that will come. The wins we need to celebrate are just having awesome conversations with people that need what we got and getting a commitment to help them in the future. What do you guys hear?
I hear it's about developing and nurturing relationships.
That's all it comes down to. Exactly.
Building trust.
That's all it is.
Yep.
That's all it is. Guys, like, we get to work in the air conditioning and talk to people and cash 5-figure checks as often as we want. I mean, does there get any, and it costs about $1,000 to keep this job every year. I mean, does it get any better than this?
Hey, Bill, I took what you said about, remember how you said the voicemail was kind of sales pitchy, so shorten it?
Mhm.
Well, and then we talked about how I said I wanted to email the do not call people because I have their email.
Yeah.
So I dumped a crap load of people into command just so I could put them in a smart pen. And I ran like, I want to say like 280 something emails in there last night with the email that just said, hey, this is Heather with Keller Williams. I have a cash buyer who's interested in your property that I see is no longer on the market. And then my phone number. And it started last night. And then so far this morning, and I have 8 email replies that I need to get back to. So I was
Right.
like, I didn't expect anything. So that was pretty cool.
That's the, and can I share a little bit more detail about that? It's
Uh-huh.
not that your message sounded salesy. It's just that it was a lot. It was very wordy. And I would have written a similar email a long time ago also. Like, it was like, I'm certified in this and I can do this for you. And, you know, I just have to come and see your home and then I can offer this to you. That's like, you showed your hand,
Yeah.
right? And they're like, I'm not so interested in any of that stuff, so I won't reach out. Here, you're like, I got an offer, here's my number.
And it worked way better.
And they're like, whoa, I got some questions for this woman.
Yeah. So now I'm working on my reply email to like a template to reply to the ones that are like, or how much is the offer, and you know, things like that. So
I would say, here's my Zoom link. It'll take me about 5 minutes on a Zoom call to explain the process to you and to get started. I'm
okay.
available at this time, or this time. Right? By the way, is there an easier way to get a hold of you? Per, like your cell phone? Can I text you a Zoom link? Ooh, that's a good one. Can I text you a Zoom link?
Oh, that
I'll
is
use
good.
your
And
cell
if they
phone for
give us
that.
the phone number that they have on the do not call list, we can use it as long as they give it to us.
Well, now I'm not a do not call list attorney, but in my personal opinion, and you can bring me to court if you get sued, and I'll talk to the judge with this opinion for whatever that's worth. They have introduced a conversation. You're just simply replying now,
Okay.
right? They didn't initiate it, but they've consented to it. Right. If you ask for their number and they say, I'm on the do not call list, then yeah, that one's probably going nowhere. But if they give it to you, absolutely. But even until they give it to you, they've consented to this back and forth, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think that breaches the do not call. Absolutely. If they offer it to
Meaning
you,
voids it, right?
voids it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would agree. Although
Yeah.
I'm not an attorney either, but
You can come with me to the court.
all right.
I'll bring my prepaid legal attorney.
Is there any way to put in your, is there any way to put in there in your reply email, you know, I see that you're on the do not call list. Do I have your permission to text you this link for our Zoom? Would you do that or no?
I wouldn't do that. In my opinion, they've
Okay.
already consented to continuing the conversation. I wouldn't even bring that up.
And is there like, I've seen like the do not call list come through, but I have no concept of what to do with it. Is there any video I can watch?
Heather, you've kind of navigated that a lot, haven't you? How have you been dealing with that?
Oh, and
Go ahead. Heather, you go first.
Well, I was asking just the other day if there was, I was looking for some type of like database system that we could just like run numbers through and it would tell us. And I probably spent like 45 minutes looking before I even asked in the group. And I haven't found it other than just searching numbers one by one on that list. So that's why I'm kind of sticking to the Vulcan, because it tells us what ones are and what ones aren't. Because
Yeah.
I feel like I waste a lot of time searching through numbers just to prep to call.
I
Yeah, I
have no
agree.
idea what you're talking about there, just to be clear.
So Vulcan7.com, which is the source that we get for sale by owner, expired listings, and expireds, withdrawn, and for sale by owner. When it pulls up, they have a little mark that says whether that person or that number is on the do not call list. Cole, which is like the neighborhood directory data source, does not have that. But as far as what I bring up, what I see here on the note, I wouldn't touch that. They have responded, game on. You'll be in my database until I see your obituary or until you buy something. You think I'm kidding. I'm seriously not kidding. Okay.
Well, that's what I was going to ask too. Like, I feel like everybody that replied, since now I have their email address, their address, and the correct name for them, because sometimes Vulcan's wrong on the names. I'm putting them in my in command. I feel like since they've contacted back, even if they don't buy anything right now, they still had some interest to reply to the email, because I get like 1,000 emails that I never reply to or even read for that matter.
That is true, but that relationship is incredibly fragile, right? And that you need to, that your name is not even close to being cemented into their head yet. So, you know, there is a very, it is very unlikely that, let's say in 2 years, they would return to you. So now it's your job to hammer that your name into their skull so that when they think about real estate, they think about you.
Well, I was going to put them on a long-term smart plan.
I would see their face, get them on a Zoom. When you meet with somebody, especially when you can see their face, it changes the relationship forever.
Okay.
Okay. Even when if I set an appointment with an agent at a different firm and they blow me off, they set the appointment, but then they no-show. If I desire to go after that again, I can say, well, we missed our appointment for some, I think we missed each other, 3 weeks ago. I was just hoping to get back on your schedule. I don't have to say my pitch anymore. I'm just trying to get back on the schedule. You see what I'm saying? Like, once you agree to meet with me, it's game over, y'all. It's game over. I'll be on you forever.
I thought you only had a certain amount of time, that there was like a 9-month or 18-month period that you were allowed to contact someone that you had done business with, and then no more.
I've never heard of anything like that. If you have a source for that, please share it. But I've never heard of anything like that.
I just remember reading it in the pre-course thing, that it was, the licensing pre-course. It's like part of the do not call was, if you have done business with them, you have X number of months that you're allowed to contact them, and then past that point, no, if they've not responded to you. I'll look it up. I'll see if I can find it.
I'm not aware of that. I'm not aware of that.
I vaguely remember what you're talking about.
I'm not saying it's not true. I'm
questioning it myself. Yeah.
Here's the thing. Some of these incubation periods for people are huge, right? Often the average says that they're not going to transact but once every 7 to 9 years or so, right? So if they ignore 7 years of messages, I'm not going to stop. It doesn't cost me. I mean, they're not going to get like the deluxe magazine every month or something like that costs $2, but they're going to hear from me until they directly tell me to stop. And as soon as they do that, I'm going to give it. I'm going to back off, and I'm going to honor that request. No questions. But until then, boy. All right, guys. Please don't forget, from 9:30 to 12:30 today is Mega Agent Day. That is free. There's a link for registration it's a Zoom call or Zoom thing in the newsletter, has been for a couple of days. And yesterday was the final day of the 3rd week reporting period for October. So if you could, I have my coach and I talk at 2 o'clock every Thursday. And the very first thing we talk about is how you guys are doing. That's pretty much all we talk about, actually. So will you please tell me how you're doing so I can answer that question? All right. She didn't ask me about me. She just asked about y'all. All right. Have a great day, you guys.
Thanks, Bill. So long, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye, guys.